Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about 8.4 exponential function interest, but this time compounded. So we'll talk about what does it mean compounded soon, all right? So we are going to find an explicit formula for balance of a savings account when interest was compounded in various ways. So today's example is same thing from last time, right? Helen is opening her first savings account and it is depositing $500. Suppose she decides on a bank that offers 6% annual interest to be compounded twice a year. So what does it mean compounded twice a year? So when we get the interest rate, 6%, this is the annual interest rate, annual rate. So mostly interest, the bank offers the interest just once a year, and that is 6% in this case, right? So you have $500, your interest will be 6% of the $500 for that year, which was $30, right? 0.06 times 500 will be 30. So at the end of the year, your balance will be $530. But what does it mean compounded twice a year? Compounded twice a year means the bank give you the interest twice at the end of the 6 months and then at the end of the year. So every 6 months, the bank give you the interest. But interest rate is 6%, is the annual rate. So let's think about this interest rate and frequency together, right? So the bank will not give you the interest rate twice, both of them 6%. It doesn't make sense, right? It's too much now. So how should we adjust the interest rate if we change the number of payments? Let's think about it. After that, which one gives us more amount? Once, compounded once, or twice? And then think about why. So how should we adjust the interest rate if we change the number of payments twice, right? Twice a year. So instead of 6%, how many percent should we get each time? Yes, 30%. Does it make sense? So 30% after 6 months, and then 30% another 6 months. Together, it'll be 6%, right? So what happens is when you get the interest twice, you divide the interest rate by 2. Make sense to you? But what happened to the frequency? You multiply 2 to the year, right? That will be the frequency. So if you understand this, then you will get this now. So this is a $500. This case is compounded once a year. This is compounded twice a year. We are going to compare now, right? The rate, okay, so this is a formula, you know, principal times 1 plus interest rate to it was a T years, but now, how do we adjust the formula? We are going to adjust I, the interest rate, and the T here, the exponent, that will be the frequency, number of times, how many times you get the, interest, all right? This is the frequency, this is the rate. Then it'll be simple. You need to change what? Interest rate and the frequency. So how? Let's go. 6%, which is 0.06 when you get the once a year, right? How about this one? Twice a year, 3%, 0.03. What did you do? You divide the I by 2, right? So 0.06 divided by 2. And then you're going to add it to the 1. So the 0 year you get the $500 deposit. And then what happened after 6 months? For this part, compound once a year, nothing happens after 6 months, right? But this one, you get the interest 3%, right? This one, nothing happened. But here, you multiply 500 times 1.03. That will be your balance after 6 months. Make sense? Which is 515. Now, 1 year later, this part, finally you get the interest 6%. So 1.06 you multiply it, right? The common ratio is 1 plus the interest rate, 1 plus 0.06, you multiply, you get the 530. And then, but this part is when you do it second time, right? So 1.03 to the second power. Make sense? Then which one is more? Let's compare this. This is $500, $530, and this one is 530.45 cents. $530.45. This one has a slightly more, 45 cents more than this. Do you know why does it happen? Can you explain this? This happened even though the 3%, 30% is a 6%, interest rate is the same, but think about it. After 6 months, the balance here changed, right? So it became $515. And then when you calculate the interest again after 6 months again, not only $500 cost make the interest, also another there's a $15 that also make interest, right? Which is 45 cents. So which plan do you think is better? Compounded twice a year, right? So the more you compound, the more amount you get. It's not big difference, but slightly more, right? So that's it. So I want you remember, so there are many different ways of compounding. So semi-annually or biannually is twice a year, or quarterly, which is how many quarterly means 4 times a year, right? And or monthly means 12 times a year. And then what do you do? That this is a new formula, but it's not difficult to memorize. The principle is the same, but 1 plus I divided by n. What is n? N is the number of times the interest is compounded. How many times do you compound? So twice, 4 times, 12 times, right? So if it is once a year, you don't need to divide, just I. But twice divided by 2. But what happened to the frequency here? You multiply 2 to the year, number of year, okay? Then you can get the amount directly from that formula. So my annually, quarterly, monthly, twice a year. Sometimes they say biannually, right? Twice, 4 times, 12 times. So let's see with the example. So this is like this, and quarterly, I over 4, and 4 times t here. And 1 plus I over 12, 12 times t here. A common mistake, people add 1 plus I interest rate, you add it, and then divided by 2. That will be wrong. That is a common mistake, so please be careful with it. So with this example, let's try all of them. So we already did this one, right? Let's try this together. $500 is a beginning amount, and then 6% annual rate. Yearly is a compounding once a year, so you don't need to divide, you don't need to multiply to the time, right? So how do you do it? 500 times 1 plus 0.06, 6% 0.06, and 10 years to the 10 power, right? It will be $895.42. But how about biannually? What should you change? Yes, you divide the 0.06 by 2 and then multiply 2 to the 10. That's the only difference. Make sense? So 1 plus 0.06 divided by, don't add the first 1 and 0.06 and divide. You should divide the interest rate only, all right? By 2. And then 2 times 10. If you do it, $903.06. This is more than the yearly, right? So when you get compounded twice, it's a little bit bigger than compounded just once. How about if you compound 4 times? Divide by 4 here, right? And multiply by 4. So we can assume that it'll be a little bit bigger than $903, which is $907.01, right? Then monthly, obviously it'll be more than this. So you divide by 12, here interest rate will be divided by 12, and number of payment is 10 years times 12. So it'll be $909.70. So does everybody understand? Okay, we'll stop here.